First of all, welcome to an immaculate hair day from me. And secondly, welcome to unnecessary roughness. I just happen to be in a spot where I can see the camera, and then I see my face. The TV's right beside the camera, and good God.
Brandon, are you running that account on your own?
Huh?
Are you running that account on your own?
Why don't you quit hollering? The unnecessary roughness is brought to you by High Noon Hard Seltzer. There, go ahead and talk about that, woman.
So the answer is yes. Big Ev, I don't know when it's going to actually get cold in New York. I don't know when it's going to get cold in Chicago. But what I do know is I'm ready for that. I'm ready for that cold weather to hit, because if you remember last year, High Noon did like a snowbird pack of some sort. I think it was called the snowbird pack, and it had delicious wintry flavors. And I know that you guys love shorts weather. I'm over it. I'm ready for a big coat weather, and I'm ready for some like winter flavor High Noon. That's what I want. I want just that cranberry to just hit different when it's cold outside.
I mean, Kayce, while High Noon is delicious in the winter, you're trying to skip too fast over shorts and hoodie weather. I don't know why you're trying to just get rid of shorts and hoodie. This is shorts hoodie season. It's fall. This is what High Noon is built on. This is the perfect time for High Noon. It's tailgate weather. It's football weather. It's brisk autumn leaves weather with High Noon. It's God bless.
All seasons are High Noon weather. We know that. HighNoonSpirits.com. Find a pack near you. I don't want to discredit the End Zone pack, and people always accuse me of rushing through summer, and then I'm just a cold weather gal. I just want cold weather, but as we've said, High Noon is always good. The tea's phenomenal. I don't think we've announced where we're going on our next live show for the college football show yet, but I can imagine, because I know where we're going, there's going to be a lot of High Noon there. Brandon's probably going to need an extra High Noon or two while we're there. Anyways, HighNoonSunsips.com to find a pack near you.
Yeah, fuck my life. That's where we're going.
Why is your mic so loud when you yell at me?
I'm sorry. I won't yell today. Is my mic off today? I had 3 guys come in here and fix this thing, so hopefully the mic works. If it doesn't, I'm sorry. I apologize. All right, college football. We Big F. I have you, an Ohio State fan. I have a couple other Ohio State fans in my life at this company. I also have Penn State fans in my life at this company. Connor Griffin is on Mostly Sports is a Penn State fan. Mark Titus is, of course, an Ohio State fan. Both think they're going to lose this weekend. Both are dreading this weekend. Mark Titus is certain Penn State's going to win. Connor Griffin is certain Ohio State's going to win. Where do you fall?
How does cautiously optimistic sound?
Oh, no.
How does that sound to you?
That's not a spot you want to be in.
No, it's not at all. It's a horrible spot. Guys, I'm petrified. I'm scared. I'm scared. I think we're going to win because Ryan Day and James Franklin seem to get into like not out coach each other. One just under coaches the other one. And Day seems to, as much as he loses the big ones, he somehow just always beats Penn State. But I'm nervous because I do genuinely believe this is the best Penn State team they've had in maybe in Franklin's time, coaching Penn State, or at least in the last like 5-6 years for sure. So I'm nervous. And the thing matchup wise I'm nervous about is our offensive line is struggling. Without Josh Simmons, with some of the other injuries we've had, it's been a problem. And they've got a guy named Abdul Carter who's probably going to go in the top 10, 15, at least the first round of the NFL draft. That matchup specifically I'm worried about. I'm very worried about it.
Kayce, are we at the point in the A&M season where it's now real and every game is terrifying?
Brandon, I don't know if you could hear us while they were working on your mics, but we talked about the A&M South Carolina game, and it is horrifying to the point where, like, South Carolina fans in my mentions, like, which, and I've been talking shit about South Carolina, but I saw some guys say, like, oh, big bad A&M is coming to little old Columbia. And I'm like, who said little old Columbia? We lose in Columbia. Like, this is not a fun place to go play. Like, games at South Carolina, especially at night, are terrifying. At the end of the day, we're not used to winning very much. So, of course, I'm terrified.
See, this is where I have it better than both of you because all the pressure is off my shoulders. I don't have to worry about if I'm being dead honest, I don't 100% know who we play this week. I know we still have UMass and Tennessee on the schedule. I don't know which one of those. I think we might play UMass this week, but I'm not 100% certain about it. So
you're just checked out. You don't care. I mean, you care, but you don't care.
It is what it is at this point, and I know.
But you're not emotionally invested because you know that you stink.
Well, there's no payoff to being emotionally invested. My emotional investment is in the future and getting this thing turned around and doing whatever Commandant Levy needs me to do. I will do whatever I got to do to get this thing turned around, up to and including money. Blutman, your pressure's off you too, right? UCLA's trash.
No, because I did the list. If UCLA loses to Nebraska this week, I gotta eat a single piece of corn.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And we got Iowa next week, Friday night. Same thing. If we lose,
is that also corn?
Yeah.
Is there anybody in the Big Ten that's not corn?
Yeah, Rutgers beat them.
What are they? What are they?
If we lost to Rutgers, I was gonna have to apologize to TJ and be like, "Hey, you guys are the class of the Big Ten, the epicenter of college football."
What happens if you lose to USC?
I think it's something about Lincoln Riley. The one I'm scared about is Fresno State. I'd have to donate to the NIL fund $10.
$10. Wow. Okay.
That'll do a lot there, no? I guess you got a tight end too.
Listen, in my experience, $10 will not in fact get you a tight end. Hugh Freeze told me that. Anyway,
hey, but Jim Harbaugh got in trouble for buying like a $10 hamburger, so there is some sort of value.
No. He got in trouble for being a lying piece of shit about buying a $10 hamburger.
And also buying a $10 hamburger.
No, he didn't get in trouble for the cheeseburger. He might have gotten in trouble for the cheeseburger, but he got in trouble because he just turned into, what? I don't even know what cheeseburgers are.
What the heck's a cheeseburger?
I'm just saying that if Liam gives $10 to the UC now in LA, that definitely wouldn't buy you a cheeseburger. It'd buy you In-N-Out. It'd buy you In-N-Out maybe though. You could buy or recruit some In-N-Out.
Only a single.
All right, are y'all ready?
Yeah.
Answer these 5 questions. Number 1. Rank these 4 unexpectedly undefeated teams in order of realness. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Rank these 4 undefeated, unexpected teams in order of realness. The 4 teams are the Indiana Hoosiers, the BYU Cougars, the Iowa State Cyclones, and the Pitt Panthers. Those are your 4 teams. I believe BYU currently in the AP, the highest ranked of those teams. Iowa State right behind them. Indiana, I think, at 13. And then Pitt, undefeated, coming in at number 18 in the AP poll. Big F, rank those 4 teams in order of realness.
You know,
Indeed.
Man. I think my gut reaction, my knee.
I know you, and I know you love 2 of these teams.
I know, but I'm going to give you my real ball thoughts.
Okay.
I think Indiana is number 1.
Indiana 1.
I think with a healthy Curtis Rourke, they're the team I believe in the most. I think they're the team with realistically the highest upside. I think they're the team that can realistically hang with the big boys more than some of the other teams. Well coached, really, really balanced on both sides, playmakers on offense. Now, I think all these teams actually have like good quarterbacks, but I still think Rourke healthy is probably the best of the group. I think 2 and 3 to me are really close. Man. Oh man, I guess I'll go BYU. I'll go BYU second. Iowa State's close. I think Iowa State's getting slept on still. I think BYU is a little bit more of a story. They've gotten hyped a little earlier. I think Iowa State's been a little more under the radar, but I'll go BYU 2, Iowa State 3, and Pitt 4. I just still am not a believer in Pitt like that. I don't think their defense is very good. I think they got some good bounces. They played a good game against Syracuse. Credit to them. But now even this week we're looking at them. They're 7.5-point dogs to SMU. Yeah. Now listen, Vegas isn't everything. I keep saying BYU is in trap spot every week, and they just dominate every week. So not that Vegas means everything, but yeah, I'll go Indiana 1, BYU 2, Iowa State 3, Pitt 4. I think Pitt loses multiple games still this season.
Kayce, rank these 4 teams in terms of realness: Indiana, BYU, Iowa State, or Pitt.
I wrote mine down as like first thing that came to my mind, and it's the same order, Indiana, BYU, Iowa State, Pitt. Like, Pitt for sure is fourth to me. Like, there's no doubt. Like, when you look at their schedule, they just haven't beaten anybody. And I don't know if that's, I mean, they can only beat who's on their schedule, but they've beat Kent State, Cincinnati, West Virginia, Youngstown State, North Carolina, Cal, and Syracuse. Like, that doesn't jump off the page to me. They've obviously looked impressive in some of those games. BYU and Iowa State, like, I could interchange those as well. I just think that watching BYU, like, they're rolling right now. They really are. Iowa State, I'm still not a full believer in, and I would buy Indiana stock as high as Liam bought it. Like, there is no question to me who number 1 and number 4 is in that. Like, if I could buy the Liam Blutman Indiana stock in like June or July, I would jump right on that, because I think this team is for real. And I know you're not supposed to do college football math every single week, and I understand teams play, they match up differently, but the way that they played Nebraska and then watching the way Ohio State played Nebraska, like, Indiana is for real in that conference.
Blutman, rank these 4 teams in order of realness: Indiana, BYU, Iowa State, or Pitt.
Unexpected was a funny word to group the Hoosiers in with these guys, but Indiana's 1, BYU's 2, Iowa State's 3, and Pitt's 4. Pretty much the same order. I don't think BYU, Iowa State's not as much of a toss-up for me. I think I watched those teams. I'm more confident in BYU offensively while being very confident in both defensively. I just think that they're better at the quarterback position. I think they're better at the running back position. I think that they have a lot of, like, both teams have good weapons at receiver and tight end, so it is what it is. I love their offensive line play as well. The win against Kansas State, the blowout dominant win, I don't think people are focusing on that too much recently. It's more so BYU's in these, like, yeah, the Oklahoma State game needed some magic, and UCF was a blowout, but the final score didn't indicate that. People kind of had this perception that BYU's scrapping and clawing their way through and living and dying in the final moments of these games. It's not true. I think it was a really good football team. And then circling back to Indiana really quick, I saw something this morning. Somebody tweeted, Signetti, after Omar Cooper scored their first offensive touchdown of the game against Washington, he untucked the ball at the 5-yard line. He was going in untouched, and Signetti pulls him over to the sideline, and he chews him out for a good 10, 15 seconds. Don't you ever do that. Like, just chew them. He's such a good coach. I love that stuff. If they are up 35-0 in a game, he's coaching like they're down 72-60 and still have a chance to win the game and need to lock in. Funny score, Brandon. I know.
Bizarre score.
That was a weird score, Blevin.
It's just what I thought of. I was going to say 72-0, but you're dead in that moment. It was 72-0. I just think that they're the best coach team. And then, yeah, Pitt, Vegas says it all. Touchdown underdog this week, and they still play Clemson. That stuff's going to die off eventually.
SMU's beating them this weekend, by the way.
Once again, I will save the show with my unparalleled capacity for original thought, because I just asked the same question of 3 people. They all had the exact same order. Now, Kayce, I would like to take your point that you made about Pitt and hit it with a counterpoint. First of all, I'll also put Pitt at number 4. You were right about that. However, you listed off the teams that Pitt has beaten fairly. You fairly did that.
Yes, I did.
I would like to now discuss, because everybody is so high on Indiana. Oh, my God. Okay. Indiana. Just across the board. Let's discuss who Indiana has beaten. They beat FIU to start the season. Mighty FIU. They beat Western Illinois 77-3. They went on the road and beat UCLA, a down UCLA Bruins team. They beat Charlotte at home. They beat Maryland by 14 at home. They went on the road and beat Northwestern at a high school stadium. They killed Nebraska at home, and finally they beat a middling Washington team at home 31-17. That leaves road trips to Michigan State, to Ohio State, and home games against Michigan and Purdue. Everything that is said about Pitt is also true about Indiana. They look good. Everything is fantastic. Curtis Rourke looks great. Cignetti, you saw this coming, Liam. At the same time, if I'm ranking them against Iowa State and I'm ranking them against BYU, BYU does have a win over Kansas State. BYU has another decent win that's slipping my mind right now. But thank you. I like Iowa State won, and that's kind of just preference. I think Becht is a good quarterback. I like the coach. I got Iowa State 1, BYU 2, Indiana 3, because the story's great. I was there just like Kayce and Big Ev were there a couple weeks ago. Amazing scene. It's great to see Indiana up. But we sure are just all holding hands and singing songs about a team that hadn't beat anybody yet. That's the truth.
But they're beating the shit out of everybody.
That's fine. They're beating the shit out of everybody. And Blumman, I know you saw it coming, and I know you're in love with this team, and you're married to this team. But if we're going to call out Pitt for not beating anybody, don't we also have to do it with Indiana?
I'm not calling out Pitt for not beating anybody.
Okay, well, they were called out on the show.
I think Pitt's been completely fine with who they've been. The Cincinnati win was great in the way that they came back and won. The West Virginia game was great in the way that they came back and won. They deserve a lot of credit for dismantling Syracuse in the way that they did. I'm not in on this Pitt hasn't beat anyone thing. I'm not doing that. Talking about Indiana, you, week after week, want to be the one guy that discredits them because of the brand that they are and the history that they have. I need to call you out for it every single week. Yes, I do.
No.
If this was Ohio State, Buckeye brand would be salving it over them. Oh, my goodness. Look how good they are. Look how well coached they are. Look at the play calling. Oh, the defense is so good. This and that over and over again. If you watch that team, you know very well that they are one of the best coached teams in the country, and that's not up for debate. You know that they can go and will compete with almost anyone in the country, maybe aside from Georgia when Georgia is on. They are so analytically, they are so good on the analytical side of the game. Look at their EPA and the motion that they use and their blocking schemes and everything. If you actually wanted to give Indiana credit for being a good football team instead of looking at the brand, I think you'd fall in love with this team. But you want to be the guy that's doubting them. And
you're being an Indiana fan right now. You're being like, it's our brand, it's our helmet. This is
all you've got to go with.
I'm saying we have
better than this brand.
I'm saying we have four undefeated teams here, and we look at some and say, well, they haven't beaten anybody. While the main one who hasn't beaten anybody is the same one everybody's ranking number one. I think they look fine. I think they look really good. Have I seen something that tells me they're going to compete with? You just said compete with anybody. Have I seen anything that makes me think they can compete with Georgia or Texas or Ohio State or teams of that level? I haven't seen that.
And this is an honest question to you. So when you say you haven't seen anything from them that makes you think they can compete with Ohio State, when the same team that just competed with Ohio State very closely last week, they blew out the week before?
Yeah, but you can't do transitive property here.
You can't a little bit.
You worried about playing Indiana?
A little bit.
Ev's worried about playing his shadow right now because of the way they looked against Nebraska.
A little bit. I am a little bit worried about it.
Brandon,
but also, to me, Indiana, I said it last week. I said I wouldn't wear the Indiana gear at Indiana because I thought that game could mean something, and I've kind of been proven right at least the next couple of weeks. I don't know, just eye test to me. They just look good. Like even like watching the game without Rourke, they just look good as a team.
But boys, this is healthy debate. This is healthy debate right here.
Brandon, may I submit something to you? And this is honestly let's just close our eyes for a second and go back a couple of years on this very podcast.
Yeah, sure.
Is there any feeling right now that what Liam just said you're doing to Indiana may be similar to what you did to TCU in 2022?
Well, I was right then, and I'm probably right now.
But I'm saying that you thought that they were going to lose multiple regular season games. You didn't want to buy into them. Now they've got their asses kicked in the national championship. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not even trying to prove you wrong. I'm asking you, is there that feeling to you that you just don't buy them at all, but that?
I think they are a great story, and I think they are a solid team, and I think they are evidence of what you can do if you hire the right coach. Cignetti is the right coach. He is doing a phenomenal job. They have the right mix of players, and it has been a terrific story. I don't think beating Western Carolina and FIU and Nebraska is an indicator to me that they are a legit top 5, 6, 7 team in this country, and I feel like some people are jumping the gun when declaring them so. And when you have this list, which is Iowa State, BYU, by the way, has a couple of really nice wins, and we're not putting them at number one. So I think let's just not get caught, because I think Blutman said I'm caught up in the helmets and all that. I think you guys are caught up in the story a little bit.
Oh,
That's what I think.
I'm caught up in the quarterback. I'm caught up in the coach. I'm caught up in the way they're beating teams.
Okay, quarterback, fine. BYU has a good quarterback. So does Iowa State.
Yeah, Indiana has a pro quarterback though. He's the only one that could play at the next level.
You don't think Holstein by the end of his career is a pro quarterback?
Yeah, that's fair. Yes, you're right. But Pitt as a whole is not really in this discussion.
Healthy debate.
Healthy debate. All good in the hood. No worries.
All I'm saying is that I wish that I was on the Liam Blutman Indiana train early. That's all I'm saying.
All right, here we go. I got 5 healthy debates. We're off to a good.
We love healthy debates.
We're off to a hot start. If you right now at this point in the season, I hand you a Heisman ticket and it's the same odds across the board. Okay, let's say it's 3-1, no matter which one you take. Are you taking the one labeled Travis Hunter, Ashton Genty, or Cam Ward? Which one are you taking in your hand and going to the window with? Big F.
Cam Ward.
Okay.
I think what's going to happen is I think as long as they don't drop one until the ACC title game, or maybe even if they do, I think we're going to look up, and I think Genty, I wonder if that game, the UNLV game, I almost think might have hurt him weirdly enough. I don't know. Just like not a lot of yards per carry, only 1 touchdown. I think we're just going to look up. Miami's going to be 10-0, 11-0, with Cam Ward just having gaudy numbers. They're going to be sitting top 5, and I think the voters are going to look at each other and be like, Genty and Hunter, Cam Ward's got 5,000 yards, 40, 50 touchdowns. Like, this is the guy. Miami's back. The U's back. Yeah, I think Cam Ward. I think I'd rather have Cam Ward. I think there's too much other things that can go wrong with just Hunter having another injury, or they end up losing a couple more games. Genty, I feel like he almost peaked already, and it's starting to kind of like fall back a little bit.
Yeah,
he still can gain that momentum back, but yeah, I'll say Cam Ward.
Blutman, three equal tickets. Genty, Hunter, Cam Ward. Who you taking? Also, real quick, TJ has just walked in. I've been told by Kayce that my mic is hot, so TJ is in here to try to soften my mic.
Thank you,
and
TJ.
I'm gonna keep talking.
That's better. There it is.
You guys think that's better? Is that best?
Well, it's when you yell it like peaks really high.
Yeah. So right now, you think this is pretty solid?
Really good.
Yes.
All right, TJ, they've got a full thumbs up. Thank you for coming. Blutman, the question is yours.
Yep. So really, like, over the weekend, a lot is being said about the game Ashton Genty played. A lot of silence for Cam Ward not throwing for a single touchdown and kind of coasting by Florida State is what a great receiving touchdown. That's great for the Heisman ballot. I just want to focus on the fact Ashton Genty, for anybody that watched that football game, knows, one, he got banged up. Played with a hurt elbow. Oh, I don't care that you broke your elbow. We care. He was banged up all night facing a relentless rush defense that played their heart out. Jackson Woodard is an NFL linebacker.
Which you previously said was the weakness of that team.
It was. They played a phenomenal game. He was facing an 8-9 man box, it seemed like, every single touch, every single down. And he went out there and played a really good game. You know, contact was in there right away. Do you see the run he had to set up his only touchdown of the game? That run on 3rd and goal or whatever, unbelievable. But I agree with Ev. I think Ashton Genty might have peaked. I think that stinks because I do think at the end of the day, he is the top 2 player in the country. It's him and Travis Hunter. If you had to give me one ticket right now, I think it's a weird spot to be in because none of these 3 guys have a marquee game left. There are 0 marquee games that any of them have. So it's just strictly based off of who's the best player. It's strictly based off performance. It's strictly based off of I need one Heisman moment. Who's going to give it to me? Probably Travis Hunter, if I'm being quite honest.
Well, I slightly disagree because the Heisman voting does go after the conference championship games, does it not? And that would allow Miami's ACC championship game against Clemson to possibly fall in that window. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe some votes are already cast by then, but that's just a little slight nitpick to your overall point. Kayce, Heisman ticket, Genty, Hunter, Ward.
I mean, I think that everybody's going to know my answer, but I'm going to give real legitimate reasons, as I do every single week. Travis Hunter, these Heisman voters we know love headlines. They love headlines. They love spectacular stats. And the headline just this week, Travis Hunter becomes the first player to ever simultaneously win the Big 12 Player of the Week for both offense and defense. He played every single snap. He had a career high with both pass breakups and receiving yards. He had 2 touchdowns. Like, you want to talk about things that pop off of the paper when they're sitting there looking at these guys. Like, yes, obviously Ashton Genty having the Barry Sanders type season that he had prior to what we're talking about now. But when you've got a guy like Travis Hunter, and I understand he has to stay healthy. He had a couple games where he was banged up. But when you talk about things that just have never happened in this sport at this level, Travis Hunter is doing it. And I know they don't have a marquee game left on their schedule, but they also have a lot of opportunities for him to continue to play that he does. They have Texas Tech left, Utah, who stinks, Kansas, who stinks, Oklahoma State, who stinks. So when you look at what Travis Hunter has the ability to do over the next 4 weeks, and they're now bowl eligible, so it's not like they're just going to win 4 games. Like, this is a team that everybody's watching, and he continues to put those headlines out there. And that, at the end of the day, like, you talk about Heisman moments, like, Heisman moments are what those headlines look like for Travis Hunter. So that's why I'm going with Travis Hunter.
I apologize for being this guy. I already had to do it to Big Cat today. You're the second person I've done this to, so don't think it's you. Travis Hunter didn't win simultaneous offensive defensive player of the week. He became the first player ever to do it in a season. He won, I believe, defensive player in week 3 and offensive player last week. So he didn't win both this week.
Well, then those headlines are bullshit, because that's what they say.
He is the first to ever win both in a season, but he didn't win both in the same week.
Okay, well, it's still.
But the point remains the same.
The point stands. Yeah. So whether it wasn't in the 7-day calendar stretch, it was in a 14-day calendar stretch, is what you're saying?
No, it was like week 3, but it doesn't matter. It was in the season.
It's the first ever. And again, like, when you look at CBS shout out, like, the headline is very clear of like what they're trying to say. First ever player to simultaneously, which, by the way, simultaneously usually means at the exact same time. So that's kind of a shitty word for them to use. Beside the point, when you look at this week, he had career highs with pass breakups and yards, and he had the 2 touchdowns. I don't understand how anybody can argue against it. And I know I said this, and I heard them say this on the Yak. I watched the Yak yesterday, by the way. I don't know why. I just decided to put it on. And they said it to you, like, I think not you specifically, but I think sometimes people look at the uniform that he's wearing and who he plays for and automatically have a hater thing for it.
Oh,
it's true.
Well, yeah, but the same thing happens.
If this guy was playing for Ohio State, if Travis Hunter was playing for Ohio State and doing what he was doing, it wouldn't be like, well, and then the whole argument was, well, Colorado's only going to win 3 or 4 games. They're bowl eligible now for the first time in God knows how long. And
You're right.
And like, if it was any other major team, no one would be doing that.
Yeah, but I'm not going to allow that because the same thing happens to Ashton Genty. The same thing. I agree. If he was playing for Alabama, this almost wouldn't even be a discussion at this point.
But he wouldn't I don't think he'd have the yards that he would have.
And if Travis Hunter played for Ohio State, they wouldn't let him play both ways. Like he plays for the coach that's going to allow him to show how good he is on both sides of the ball. And a lot of coaches wouldn't do it.
I agree with that, but that doesn't take away from. And I'm not saying Ashton Genty is not unfucking believable, but that, like, Travis Hunter's doing what he's doing because Deion's letting him do it. If Ashton Genty had to play against SEC defenses, he wouldn't be running for like 200 or 300 yards. That's just
maybe we don't know, because he'd be running behind an SEC offensive line.
It wouldn't be the same. It would still be unbelievable numbers, though. It still would be Heisman caliber numbers. There is a reason why every single SEC team, every power, Big Ten teams, SEC teams were offering him gaudy amounts of money to go play for them before he blew up like this. There's a reason. They know that he's a special running back. The toughness and contact balance that guy has translates, and he would be putting up Heisman-worthy numbers if he played for Alabama, Texas, Georgia. It don't matter. Yeah. He'd be putting them up.
Let's not ignore the fact that one of his best games was against the number 1 team in the country, and he almost willed his team.
Truthfully, I don't care about the George Southern one.
He almost willed his group of 5 team to a win over the number 1 team in the country by running for 200 yards, having 3 touchdowns, just going crazy. So the answer is not Travis Hunter, and it's not Ashton Genty, because the safest choice of all 3 probably is Cam Ward. Because Cam Ward is he's a quarterback, and voters love fucking quarterbacks. They love quarterbacks.
They do.
Genty had a tough game the other night, and it's already eaten into his lead. Like, people want to dock him now. If he has one game where he doesn't go for 100 yards, if he has like 11 carries for 93 yards, he's done. Voters are looking for an excuse. And Hunter, the knock against him is if he goes all 12 games at this usage rate doing what he's doing, he should win the Heisman. But that's a miracle. If he can go 12 games, he can go 4 more games at this usage rate, playing every play in the fucking cold in November, then give him the Heisman. Can he do that? Because that's the thing nobody's ever done before. There's a reason people don't do it, because it's very fucking hard. And if he can get through these next 4 games playing 99% of the snaps in the game, I would walk to New York to hand him the Heisman. That's the problem. That just sounds impossible in my head. The fact he's made it 8 games at this usage rate is incredible.
He's an enigma.
He is, in fact, an enigma, much like you, Liam Blutman. Kayce, do some business.
Thanks, Playboy.
I love the way he says Playboy.
Well, I heard Brandon drop a Playboy on the yak.
Oh, buddy, I've been doing Playboy for 5 years. Don't act like
Don't you buddy me.
I've been Playboying ever since I got to Barstool. I didn't take that from you.
I didn't say you took it from me. I thought maybe I inspired you, but hey,
settle down,
maybe you
player.
inspired me.
Kayce, please.
Game Time, the official ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. Hockey. Brandon's a hockey guy now. Obviously, the NBA is back. Shout out YouTube TV last night for having the World Series, the Monday Night Football game, and the Celtics game on at the same time. And if you were at any of those games, it was a fantastic.
Oh, shut up, woman! I just got my word. I don't know how I'm gonna get it in.
Me that look. Okay, Game Time. I'm assuming that if you were watching those games at home, you were like, "Damn, I wish I would have gone to one of them." Ev, I'm sure you didn't want to be at the World Series game, but if you did, Game Time. So if you download the Game Time app today, right now, use code RUFF. You can easily score great deals with the new Game Time picks. And as we've been mentioning every time we talk about Game Time, they have the new Game Time Picks feature, which it makes it even easier to get to a game. It filters out all the fluff, so you don't have to spend hours looking for exactly what you want. You can go get incredible deals on great seats that fit into your budget, what you're looking for, and what you want to see, so you don't have to waste the time searching through thousands of tickets. I had some girlfriends who went to see Taylor Swift in New Orleans over the weekend. There's a big festival in New Orleans this upcoming weekend. I'm sure Game Time has great tickets. Download the Game Time app today. Use code RUFF. We love it. Game Time. We love Game Time. Love
Game Time. What time is it? Game Time?
Game Time.
Who?
All right. Big Ev, you ready? Rank these 2-loss SEC teams' chances, and by order of chances of going to the playoff. Ole Miss, Alabama, LSU. Those are your current 2-loss teams I think have a chance. Because Missouri also has 2 losses, but fuck them.
They stink. They are
Very last, done, easy. 4.
Yeah, that one was easy.
It's honestly insulting to Ole Miss, Alabama, and LSU that you even put Missouri in that category.
I didn't. That's what I just said was here's the 3 teams. I didn't include Missouri. That's literally what I said.
They are hot garbage.
All right, Big F, rank these 2-loss SEC teams in order of their chances to make the playoff. Ole Miss, Alabama, LSU. Now you got to do a little schedule thinking here.
That's what we're doing.
You got to wonder because 2 of these teams play on Saturday night. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, Big Ev, I think Ole Miss has left. I think they have Georgia, Arkansas, a tomato can, and Mississippi State, also a tomato can.
Florida would be that other tomato can.
Oh, Florida. I actually thought they had a non-conference
No,
game.
so
okay.
they have Arkansas, Georgia, Florida, Mississippi State left.
At Arkansas, at Florida, Georgia at home, Mississippi State at home.
Yes.
Alabama has at LSU, they have a tomato can. They have Auburn, and they have I don't know who else.
Alabama?
Yeah.
Let me look it up for you.
And LSU has they have left. I know they have Oklahoma left.
They have a bye.
Who are you doing, Alabama?
I just looked at Alabama. They have a bye.
Okay.
So they have. Well, my phone's being slow. Keep talking. Don't worry.
I think they got a cupcake. They play at LSU.
Yeah.
At LSU.
I think they have Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, Auburn.
Don't call Mercer.
All right. I think. All right.
They don't have a bye. I don't know why I said that. That was stupid of me.
All right, LSU because they get to play Bama at home. I think it's the fact that they play each other. I give LSU the edge just because LSU has the home game. I think LSU and Bama are kind of similar teams, to be honest with you. Yeah, so I'm going to LSU 1, Bama 2, and Ole Miss 3. Ole Miss having to play Georgia's tough. And honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if they lost to Arkansas. This week. That would have totally shocked me.
Your lips to God's ears, buddy.
So yeah, I'm gonna go LSU 1 just because they get that. I think them and Bama's kind of a coin flip. They get the game at home. Yeah, so that's my answer. LSU, Bama, Ole Miss.
Blutman, rank these 2-loss SEC teams' chances of playoffs: Ole Miss, Alabama, LSU.
First off, I think it's crazy that with the college football playoff as a whole and the crunch rapification of the sport getting everyone involved in one spot, I think it's wild that we're only honing in on the SEC. Nonetheless, I do agree.
I'm just asking a question. I have a whole list of questions here, Blutman. Don't do that.
The word in there somehow. I'm sorry for putting you down to put me up.
But I'm not focused on the SEC. The first 2 questions legitimately were not even SEC.
I just had to get the word in there. Crunch rapification wasn't easy.
I had such a good idea for crunch rapification. I was so ready.
Sorry, folks. Nonetheless, like I've said, Ole Miss this week, Arkansas, the Brandon Walker Celebration Bowl. I can't wait to see it. I kind of side with Ev. I kind of think Arkansas wins that game. I don't think that was an ode to TJ there. Okay. That was voice crack. I think that Lane Kiffin just checked out. This man is whining about not playing in prime time now. It's just every week with Lane Kiffin this year, it's not even caring about the product on the field. It's how can I create more buzz on social media and just kind of lean into being a buffoon. And I love him, but we can't be complaining about not playing primetime games. That's on you. That's on your team. That's on your product at the end of the day. Let's throw them out there because they're losing them. They're maybe losing to Arkansas and they're losing to Georgia. Let's focus on LSU, Alabama. Who's going to win that game next week? LSU at home. I kind of like their odds coming off a bye week and coming off the absolute embarrassment that they had handed to them in the second half against A&M. So I side with LSU here, plain simple.
Kayce, Ole Miss, Alabama, LSU.
Ole Miss is last. They're going to lose to Georgia, so they're going to have a third loss. I'm going to go the opposite way. Obviously, I think LSU, Alabama are pretty similar teams. They've had some ups and some downs, but I think Alabama's going to win that game. And I don't know why I'm feeling that way, but that's what I'm looking at when you look towards that week. The 9th. So then you look at who Alabama has. Mercer, they're going to kick the shit out of Mercer. Oklahoma fucking stinks. Auburn fucking stinks. And I know the Iron Bowl is always crazy, but I don't think that's going to be the case this year. So I think that they're going to win out, and they have the opportunity right there. And because they beat Georgia, I do think that that's going to come into play whenever the committee looks at this, because I think Georgia's going to win the SEC. Like, I understand they're going to have that one loss, but I think they're going to be like, okay, well, who beat Georgia? Alabama did. So they went out. They have the best resume.
As far as I'm concerned, if they all have 2 losses now, whoever, if Alabama, any one of these teams gets to the end with 2 losses, they're probably making the playoff. It does come down to Alabama, LSU, because Ole Miss obviously has Georgia at home. I side with Kayce here because here's the thing about LSU. I'm not sure how good they are. And number 2, the 2 times I've seen their defense just get gashed this year, who was that? South Carolina did it with Lenora Sellers, who, if he doesn't get hurt, they probably win that game. And then what happened last Saturday night in College Station? As soon as Marcel Reed came in, they had no idea how to defend the read option and the dual threat quarterback. Friend, if your weakness is defending dual threat quarterbacks, you are lobbing a softball to Alabama. You're saying, please, please, please beat the shit out of us, because our weakness is the best thing that you can do. So if Milroe is allowed to be really, really good, if there's an avenue he can be really, really good because the defense doesn't know how to contain him, I would lean Alabama there. Wouldn't shock me. I don't think either team is great, but that's your answer. All right. Very simple. The next question.
Okay.
Big Ev, I'll start with you. Rank these 2 conferences, ACC or Big 12. I'll just vamp for a second. ACC obviously has Clemson and Miami at the top. Pitt still undefeated. SMU undefeated in the conference. Those are your four major players for the ACC championship game. In the Big 12, you obviously have Kansas State, who's floating there, still ready to compete. You have undefeated BYU, undefeated Iowa State, Colorado lurking. I'm sure there's other teams that deserve a mention there, but those are the teams I'll mention. ACC or Big 12, Big Ev?
I mean, ACC I think has the two better teams, probably. I think they have the best team in Clemson. I think Clemson's the best team of either conference right now. The team I probably trust the most. But it's like a competence, because I think the Big 12 is a little deeper. I think like once you get past like those next teams, I think having Kansas State and Colorado and whatever order the next few teams, whether it's like Cincinnati or like Texas Tech or whoever like that, like TCU even, I think are probably better than like that. Although like Pitt's lurking, I think SMU actually is like a decent team. I'll say the ACC just because of the top. I think there's a little better at the top, and then they do have a couple quality teams in like the 3, 4, 5 spot that are solid.
Blutman, ACC or Big 12?
Yeah, I think Clemson's the best team out of either conference here. I think Miami's the second best team. I've kind of hit on the middle. If you're going to the deep, dark depths of these conferences, give me the Big 12 as a whole over the NC States, the overrated Boston College shtick that everyone wanted to do, Stanford, Cal, and Florida State. The bottom of the Big 12 will take those teams out to the woodshed and make sure they are never seen again. I will back the Big 12 here.
And Kayce?
I'm going to go with the ACC. Like, if you're talking about the more exciting conference within the conference, it's definitely the Big 12, but I don't think the Big 12 is a national title contender. If BYU goes undefeated, fine. I still don't think they're a national title contender, but I do think that Clemson or Miami with Cam Ward in that offense could be. So I'm taking the ACC.
I'm going to say it's the ACC. It's the ACC by a wide margin. And I kind of disagree with what you said there, Kayce, of more exciting within the conference. I mean, I think the ACC is just as exciting as the Big 12. What's so exciting about the Big 12 having 14 average teams just slap fighting each other every week?
I guess like every week, like we're still waiting to see who's going to emerge. Like Ev just named off all those teams. Like
none of them are going to emerge because none of them are that good.
But emerge to win the Big 12. That's what I mean.
Right.
In the conference, like I don't think that outside, and we've already discredited Pitt. Like I think Pitt loses this weekend. Outside of Clemson, Miami, which is very, very exciting. Don't get me wrong.
But it's the exact same number of teams in the ACC that could emerge as the Big 12, right? You have 3 or 4 teams at the top of the ACC and 3 or 4 teams at the top of the Big 12.
No, because I disagree with that, because we have Iowa State and we have like BYU. You look at what like Colorado could sneak in there, like Ev said, Texas Tech. Like to me, and I've been saying this since we went over the new Big 12 back when the podcast restarted. Like inside the Big 12, inside the conference, every single week, like throw your hat up. Like you don't know what those games are going to look like. That's great, but from a national title contender standpoint, it doesn't matter. The ACC, it's going to be either Clemson or Miami. Period. And one of those teams are national title contenders if they win the conference. The Big 12, I don't care who wins the conference; they're not winning the national title.
Yeah, I'm looking at the ACC. If you want to say only 2 teams can win it, Clemson, Miami, I won't sue you. In the Big 12, I think 1 of 4 teams can win it. So, yeah, it's Kansas State, Colorado, Iowa State, and BYU. I think it's ACC by a wide margin. They're better at the top. They have 2 legit national title contenders. The Big 12 has 0. Everything's been said. I don't have to step on everybody's point. So I like the ACC by a good margin. And lastly, this is off the beaten path. Who's the best college football coach to dress as for Halloween?
Ooh.
Who is the best coach? Now, I'll give you some costume ideas. It could be Hugh Freeze in a hospital bed. It could be Kalen DeBoer in a T-shirt that Alabama fans fucking hate. It can be Shane Beamer covered in mayonnaise. I believe he was the mayonnaise guy, right?
Gross. May I go into the vault?
Yeah, it can be anything ever. It can be, I know what you're doing.
I mean, I need to go.
You're doing Bobby Petrino in a neck brace.
Of course. Like, I know he's not a head coach right now, but Bobby Petrino with the red ass face and the neck brace, and if you are going as like a couple, having somebody dressed like Jessica Durrell with an all red. Maybe you've got like one of those fake little motorcycles. Like that's going to hit no matter what.
Big Ev, I hope you and I are boys, right? But you in a Brett Bielema costume would go pretty hard.
Yeah, I could pull it off.
Yeah.
How about you know what? How about Biff Poggi?
Biff Poggi, Charlotte.
Where get the cutoffs going, get the little not a crop top for us big fellas, but you know what I'm talking. Little cut right here, a little extra room for that chin. That second, third chin hanging down. Cut the sleeves off with the guns out. Little visor.
I like that one a lot. Maybe Kirby Smart with the visor, the floppy hair, and maybe you have a player in handcuffs beside you.
What about Jim McElwain and a shark?
Of course, but
you just walk around with just a shark glued to your dick.
like just go get,
wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah, like those blow up sharks, or if you have a partner or a couple, they dress as the shark, you dress as Jim McElwain, and like you just take photos all night where it looks like you're fucking a shark. Just saying.
What about
I think that's porn at that point.
I'm gonna be honest. I made a mistake just now. I googled "fucked a shark" just for a second. I wanted to see if there was an image that came up, and I regret to inform you that if you don't put Jim McElwain on that, there apparently are videos that you can watch, and I am very upset about it.
All right, Big Ed, what were you saying?
What if I was Dan Mellon and I just walked around with just like my girl like kissing my player, just
That's
a cup,
good.
Just kissing everybody.
Just kissing everybody but me.
Bloodman, any ideas?
I mean, I thought of Biff. I thought of what's it called, Dabo, but you guys already did that. So congrats.
Yeah, we did Dabo Wayne last year.
Football. The football shirts work perfectly if you're trying to do Dabo without Clemson stuff. I mean, this one, maybe 18 people watching will get it. David Yost with the shades, immaculate hair. If you want to look up his hair, great shades. Not a head coach, but I thought of him. Anyone with good flow could do it. I don't know, dude. Brian Kelly executing someone, that probably works.
All right, okay.
And a zombie.
All right, everybody.
Not a Halloween guy.
Let's all settle down.
Well, you asked the question.
I did, and then I threw out Kirby Smart and the player in handcuffs first. So I got what I asked for.
I'm going to be honest. The fact that you said Hugh Freeze in a hospital bed and not Hugh Freeze with a hooker is an all-time miss, because everybody knows girls like to dress up like hookers on Halloween.
Yeah, but nobody saw Hugh Freeze with a hooker. We all saw him in a hospital bed doing this shit.
Yeah, but if you got like a hooker in like Ole Miss gear, an Ole Miss gear, like him dressed as an Ole Miss head coach, and then like a slutty Ole Miss with like a cell phone to her ear, people would get it.
Pole assassin.
Oh, that.
Yeah,
monkey.
Yeah.
With a monkey.
I swear, whenever I watch Texas games, they think of a reason to say that a special teams coach's name and show him on TV more than if you've watched 10 college football games this year and that don't include Texas, you haven't seen one special teams coach on camera. You haven't seen them say anything. Every single time you watch Texas, there'll be a huddle and they're like, Jeff Banks, special teams coach, coming up with something, talking to his guys. You're just showing that so we'll all look at each other. You know, he's married to the stripper monkey, the pole assassin.
You know, in every one of their production meetings, like they have long form production meetings. They're doing exactly what TJ just did with Crunch Ratification. They're all like, we are going to find a way to work Jeff Banks in so everybody at home can talk about the stripper monkey.
Sam Pittman.
That happened to
Sam Pittman as a sumo wrestler.
Obviously, one of the easiest ones to do would be like Dion with like the glasses and all the chains and all that. But like that's, whatever.
Let's do some business, and then we'll get to who's up the most, who's down the most.
So, Brandon, it's the time of year where like I'm just trying to survive in advance. We all are. We're traveling so much. We've got all these games, and I need to eat. We all have to eat, and I've just gotten absolutely. I don't even want to say lazy because Factor is not lazy, but Factor, you just pop that thing in for 2 minutes. I don't have to think about what I'm going to cook. I don't have to worry about going to the grocery store or ordering ingredients or ordering out. Like I'm just like, no, I know what's in my refrigerator and it's Factor, and I choose the menu every single week. And it really is the end of October, early November, all the way through the holidays. Like you know that thinking about what you're going to eat is probably not on the top of your mind until you get to the holidays. And Factor makes it so easy for me to eat healthy. It's fresh, it's never frozen, and it comes straight to my building every single week. And I don't ever have to worry about anything else other than selecting my menu. And if for some reason you forget to select your menu, your food's still going to come. They're going to pre-select what you have selected before and give you those inspired meals. So Factor is the best thing right now. It's always great, but it's especially great when you just don't have time to think about what you want to eat. And right now, if you head over to factormeals.com/roughness50 and use the code roughness50, you get 50% off your first box. That's a lot, 50% off. And then also $20 off your next month. That's code roughness50 at factormeals.com/roughness50. 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month. All the meals you could want. If you want to eat super healthy, if you want to be carb conscious, if you want to eat keto, if you want to be vegan, they've got it all. We love Factor.
Big F, in this whole country of ours, who is up the highest?
I'm going to take an easy one here. I mean, the number one team in the country, Oregon. I mean, Oregon, when you look at what they've done, the resume they have through them already. Obviously, great win over Ohio State. Even the Boise State win is aged like fine wine. Even though it was a close game that people were giving them shit about in real time. Now that's another ranked win. And you look at their schedule, they're going to Ann Arbor this week, which you would have thought beginning of the year was a tough game. I mean, they're going to boop, 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 smack them around. They stink. They can't do anything. Michigan's a clown show. And their other three, I mean, they stomped Illinois, which is another one where that win might not age great, but doesn't matter. They beat them up. They were a team that's been ranked most of the year. They're pretty smooth sailing. And even if they do have a slip up, they're still pretty comfortably in the playoff. They're pretty comfortable even in probably the Big Ten title game. Oregon's up. They got to be feeling great.
Blutman, who's up the highest?
Yeah. They've got a tough game this week against South Carolina and little old Columbia. The line, pretty scary. But Kayce Smith, one heck of a weekend for her. She's up the most.
Thank you, Blutman. I'm a little scared about Saturday, but...
Yeah, I would be very scared. I don't like it. I'm scared for you and Elko.
Thank you. I appreciate
People say
that.
Marky Blutman looks like Elko, Brandon.
I'll have to look at Elko right off the top of my head. Kind of.
Yeah.
Kayce, who's up the highest?
Well, it's Mike Elko. It's A&M right now, and I know, and Blutman sent it to us as soon as we were done at the end of the React podcast at like 2 a.m. But and people were debating on whether his little comment was about Jimbo Fisher or if it was about Brian Kelly. But he was like, this is a real program. We don't have a politician running it, speaking fast. Like Mike Elko is saying all the right things right now. And honestly, like as an Aggie, like winning that game is obviously first and foremost because it was a game that a lot of times A&M doesn't win at the end of October or early November. But to have a coach that seems to like really fucking get it and to be saying those things and not scared of like ruffling feathers. And also one of the biggest things, if he was talking about Jimbo, which I think he was talking about Jimbo, like that's what I fucking hated the most about Jimbo. Every single week he got up and on the podium and made excuses, sounded like an asshole. Like if they lost, he would blame everybody else. If they won, it was like he acted like it was the biggest win ever. Mike Elko is just a dude. Mike Elko gets it. The whole country right now, like I saw Pat McAfee was talking about it today. Like everyone is like, holy shit, this culture at A&M is awesome. And Mike Elko is at the head of that. And regardless of what happens on Saturday night, that Mike Elko is the guy for A&M right now. So I hope and pray we go into Thanksgiving weekend the way that we are right now. But Mike Elko and the Aggies are up the highest.
Kayce, can I push back on something real quick?
You do it better than anybody when it comes to me. What?
No, I do it to everybody, not just you. I do it to everybody.
Okay, what? What?
Everybody's just so impressed, and everybody is so, oh my God, you see what Mike Elko said the other night about the politician and about Jimbo? He threw Jimbo under the bus. Oh, did you see what he said? Oh, yeah, fuck Jimbo. To Mike Elko, if Jimbo hadn't left you a full-ass cupboard, if Jimbo had left you like some coaches leave programs, it would be a lot harder to do what you're doing at Texas A&M. I understand that Jimbo wasn't the right coach for A&M, and I understand that he didn't get A&M where they wanted to go. So they went out and got a better X's and O's football coach. That's all correct. But goddamn, Mike Elko walked into a roster ready to do something. He walked into a place that had players, that had fucking dudes, and Jimbo did that. Jimbo did that for him. So you can kind of spare me Mike Elko saying, "Oh, that last guy was just a politician." He made your job a hell of a lot easier, Mike.
No, there's no doubt about that. And I mean,
right.
But it would be different if he was like, I came in and got all those guys. What he's saying is this is now a real program because I'm not going to spew bullshit. Like, yes, all those guys were there, A&M, and I'm not counting COVID because COVID doesn't count across the board to me. But the biggest knock on A&M was always, okay, you can go recruit. We have hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars we can throw around, but we've got a guy as a head coach who doesn't know how to fucking coach. And the reason he won a national championship at Florida State is because he had Jameis fucking Winston. So here, the thing with Mike Elko is that, and I feel like as an Aggie, like I want to hear him say that. I don't want him to sit up there and be like, well, thanks to the guy before me. No. Like this is a different feeling around this team, and it's very obvious.
How about just not say anything about the guy before you? How about just you can talk about your program and everything, but it's a real program because he left you real players.
Well,
I don't think getting up there.
There's also the argument that he could have been talking about Brian Kelly. I don't know.
I thought he was. Until you guys brought up Jimbo, I was under the impression the entire time that this was about Brian Kelly and the family.
I wasn't in that press conference, so I don't know what the leading questions and answers were before that. Obviously, that's the way the internet works, is you get the clip out. But there is a full-blown debate on if it was about Jimbo or if it was about Brian Kelly. Either way, like I want my coach to be talking shit. I love it. Now, win and talk shit, that was Jimbo's problem.
I don't mind talking shit, but if he was talking about Jimbo, maybe just chill out on that part because I think this doesn't happen without Jimbo Fisher.
I don't think he's the kind of guy to go.
Not really, no. Because most coaches leave schools in much worse shape than Jimbo left A&M.
A lot of guys left with Jimbo too, though. And Mike Elko's also making the decision. Like, Mike Elko made the decision to bench Connor Wigman. Like, that Jimbo Fisher had nothing to do with that. Mike Elko's the one making those halftime adjustments.
Sure. But he's doing so with a roster that was loaded up by Jimbo Fisher.
Fair.
I really don't think this was about Jimbo.
Okay, well, if it wasn't about Jimbo, I read it as being about Jimbo.
Me too. I did too.
Because I don't know why. I don't know what he would have to gain by going after Jimbo. I sure don't know what he'd have to gain by going at Brian Kelly.
I just not like him. I kind of thought it was Brian Kelly too, because he did the thing about like talking. I thought he was taking a shot at Brian Kelly too for kind of like throwing on the fake accent.
Correct.
That's what I thought the fast talking and whatever like thing was about. I thought he was making fun of Brian Kelly for he turns on and off the like Louisiana accent when like he's just a guy from like where is he from the Midwest? Like he's not a fucking.
I don't know. I mean, either way, like I like that he's talking shit because he's my coach, but like I don't know what you would benefit saying that about Brian Kelly after that game. Like to me, it felt like he was saying to the country on alert and also Aggies, like, hey, I know that we've been made fun of a lot, but this is a real program now because we don't have a politician as the head coach. That's the way I took it, but I could be wrong. Should I DM him and ask?
Either way, he's either saying that A&M didn't have a real program under Jimbo, or Brian Kelly and LSU are not a real program, and both are kind of crazy.
Well, A&M didn't win anything with Jimbo.
Yeah, but all right, it's
whatever.
We're not going to get anywhere. Who's up the highest? I don't know if y'all. I'm just in a different line of work than everybody watching, but I judge who's up kind of by how many fans are chirping and how loud the chirps are. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but over the last probably 3 weeks, Notre Dame fans have come back out of hiding. Yep. They've come back out of there was the Northern Illinois thing knocked them down for about a month, and they realized, oh my God, we lost to a G5 team and everything, and they just scattered. They scattered like cockroaches when the lights go on, and they just went away. But now they start to see the finish line. They're 7-1, and they don't have much left on the schedule, and they realize they're going to be a playoff team, and here they come back. The other day, I let out my top 10, and I believe in this. I know the AP went the other way. I have A&M I had them at I don't know, 9 or 10, and I had Notre Dame at 11. And I had 50 Notre Dame fans immediately. Oh, there's head-to-head. By the way, head-to-head, does head-to-head not matter? Yeah, head-to-head matters until you go lose to a fucking 4-4 MAC team at home, and that changes things. So Notre Dame fans, I'm not getting that argument here. All I'm saying is Notre Dame fans were quiet for a while. They're fucking back. There's nothing stopping them from going to the playoff. The team's looking good. Notre Dame fans are all the way back up.
Well, and they same way I feel about Notre Dame. Like, they want A&M to keep winning out. So, like, they're even up even higher because A&M's looking the way that they are and vice versa. Also, week one, hello, Notre Dame. It was week one. Week one. Shut up.
We got one more piece of business?
We have two.
We have two. We'll do one now.
DraftKings. I don't know why I got balloons, but I guess my computer loves DraftKings. So as we've mentioned throughout this episode, throughout every episode that we do, DraftKings is letting you get into the sports gambling world. If you're a newbie, obviously every time you do it, you should do it responsibly. But if you are new to DraftKings, you can download the app right now and you can put just $5 on anything. You deposit some money. You can literally deposit $5, put it on anything you possibly want. College football, NFL, NBA, the World Series, forever, however many games are left, whatever you want, and you'll get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Whether that bet hits, whether it wins, loses, doesn't matter. You're getting $200 in bonus bets. Use our code RUFF. We love DraftKings. We obviously have an unnecessary roughness parlay. We have a college football show parlay. You can go on to the app as well and go into the Barstool betting group, and you can see what all of us at Barstool are, what we're all betting. It's like a little chat. It's like like the old school AOL chat rooms, but you can watch and you can either follow us or fade us. We love DraftKings, the official betting partner of Barstool Sports. $5 instantly, $200 in bonus bets. Download the DraftKings app. Use code RUFF.
Big F, who's down the lowest?
Man, UCF is down tremendous.
Yeah.
Start the season 3-0. I forget they were down like 3 touchdowns against TCU. They come all the way back and win. Now they've lost 5 in a row. Season's just down the drain. I mean, they lose as 2, which some of their losses, I guess, have aged better. Where like Colorado looks good, and obviously they lose a BYU. But I mean, Colorado comes in as like a 2-touchdown underdog, smashes them. They're a favorite against BYU. It's like the rat line of the week. They get smashed at home. They get smashed by Florida. I mean, they just stink. I guess they get smashed by everybody. The Big 12's running a train on them right now. They're getting smoked.
Yeah.
They're just bad. They're just a bad football team. They just fired their defensive coordinator. I don't think that's going to help much. I'd imagine he's kind of he's Gus Malzahn's scapegoat right now. UCF is down really, really, really bad.
Blutman, who's down the most?
I do still think if Rizik's their guy at quarterback, that they actually finally have something at quarterback. I think Rizik could be good. Mine is interactive once again. Mine is the Big Ten Network announcer Guy Haberman saying D'Angelo Pons is doing a little ditty after recording a pick 6. That was a weird line to say. So
Shouldn't be throwing that one around.
Yeah, that was wild to hear.
Yeah, that's your who's down the most?
Yeah, he didn't get enough slander for it. That was crazy.
That's crazy.
So I bring that one up.
Kayce, who's down the most?
Kentucky fans are down bad, Brandon. They're down big time bad. They've lost now, I think, 3 straight. And if you look at like the headlines, and again, like Twitter, Twitter will just offer it up to you. I saw a lot of people being like, remember when Mark Stoops was going to leave Kentucky and that all backfired? Like some of the headlines are like how the coaches are keeping their players locked in. And when you have a guy like Mark Stoops who has been there for that long, and Kentucky always is kind of flirting with being, like a little bit better than mediocre in the SEC. Sometimes they win these big games. They keep them close. They just look absolutely awful. They do not look good. Kentucky fans are losing it. They play Tennessee this week, I think. Right? Is it this week? Am I wrong?
Yeah, Tennessee, Kentucky, yes. Tennessee,
so like they're and like Tennessee is obviously feeling pretty good about themselves. Like I think that when you have to, whether it's your local media, whether it's the guys that cover the team internally, whatever, when you have to put out statements like, here's how the coaches are keeping the locker room together, and it's still October, and you have a guy that's been there for that long, that's not good news. That's not fun. And Kentucky fans are just absolutely, they're sick right now. They're sick.
All right. Who's down the most? I'm going to use my part of this segment not to really discuss who's down the most, but in fact give a small pep talk. Because in my 5 years of doing this podcast, I have been an expert at monitoring fan moods and fan confidence and fan behavior. And in 5 years of doing this podcast, I have never in my life seen Ohio State fans acting the way they're acting right now. They didn't look good against Nebraska. They already lost to Oregon. They're going to Penn State this weekend. Now, in the previous 5 years of my relationship with Big Ev, if I said, how are you feeling going this game this weekend? He's going to say, suck my fucking dick, Penn State. He's going to say, we're going to fucking roll them. Today he said, cautiously optimistic. That is not a phrase any Buckeye has said over the last 2 decades. My friend Mark Titus, who I do mostly sports with, is convinced Penn State's going to beat them. I don't know what happened to Ohio State when their offensive line, when their offensive tackle got hurt. I don't know what happened in their minds. I don't know how they've already gone to the worst. But you're playing on a number 3 versus number 4 game. Get your head out of your fucking ass, Ohio State. It ain't that bad yet. If you want to react to losing to Penn State, do it after the fact. Don't give me this cautiously optimistic bullshit from a guy who usually would say, suck my fucking dick, Penn State. That is my statement today.
Love
this,
that.
This is what Ryan Day's done to our fan base, not only the team but the fan base as well.
Correct.
He's made me scared. He has put fear into me. This boisterous confidence that was genuine, was not fake at all. He's taken that from me because I just see the panic in him. I just see I just see this team and the Oregon game is giving me flashbacks to, like, I think I said it after the Oregon game around it. I was like, this core of players, this is what they do. It's like they came back for the 4th year, and I had this optimism of like, oh, like I respect so much they came back. They turned down the NFL draft. None of them were first-round picks. That's why they came back. And now I think I'm shit on my own team, but I'm scared. They have scared the daylights out of me because this core of seniors, every time they've led me to this point where we're gonna win, and then they always just let me down when it matters most, and they let me down in the most heartbreaking fashion. They don't get like their doors blown off; they fall just this short. They fall just that short, and I have PTSD. I genuinely this core of players, this class, this 2025 class or whatever you classify, 2024, has given me PTSD, and so is Ryan Day, and I'm scared. And when I look at Penn State, I see the best team that they've had in a little bit. I see we're going to Penn State. And I'm worried a little bit. I'm worried. Do I think we win the game? Yes. If you're asking me if I think we win or lose, I think we're going to win, but I'm worried.
We're almost at the end, but we haven't talked pork rinds yet.
We have not, Brandon. We have not. And the spicy dill, I know we talk about it every time. And everybody that listens to this episode, every single time we put one out, knows that I'm going to talk about the spicy dill. But I'm going to give a little love to the hot honey today, okay?
Oh, hot honey.
The hot honey. Because, and as a kid, and you get an adult and you realize, a homemade sandwich with like a side of chips or pretzels or whatever, like just it's the best.
Preach.
You put a side of the hot honey pork rinds with like a homemade turkey and cheese sandwich. Oh my God. Delicious. So pork rinds is our best friend. They have, and I say this every time because I want to remind people, it feels like a sinful snack, but it's not. Less than 1 gram of carbs in every single bag or in every single serving. Lots of protein. So it makes you feel like you're eating something sinful, but you're not. So throw away the chips. Throw away the pretzels. We love pork rinds, porkrinds.com. And of course, if you go to porkrinds.com, you can vote for your Crunch Time Hero every single week. We love pork rinds. And I hope they love us forever because I want them to keep sending me pork rinds because I go through bags like it's my job.
Also, if I'm ever making a nice homemade sandwich, turkey and cheese might be on the sandwich, but I'm certainly not making a turkey and cheese sandwich. I need a lot of meat on there. Turkey and cheese ain't my home sandwich.
No. But I'm saying, like, if you like go to a place to order a sandwich,
fried bologna. It's my sandwich.
Balupa for me.
You make fried bologna sandwiches at home?
Fuck yeah.
Really? I guess that's a Mississippi thing.
It should be an everywhere thing.
I have a dumb question.
You don't like fried bologna?
I don't. I'm not really a bologna fan, but like, do you fry your own bologna? Okay. I was about to say, there's no way you're frying the bologna. No.
Well, see, I can fry the bologna. It's easy.
For the people that are listening, he's pointing to his wedding ring. I personally think turkey and cheese is like the OG, and you got to, but I love all the fixins, right? Like I've got to have tomatoes, lettuce, pickles, mustard, mayonnaise. I want the whole thing.
Big Ev, you a fried bologna guy, or you Northeast guys don't get down like that?
No, I don't think I've ever had it.
It's not good.
Don't think I've ever
It's
had fried.
fucking amazing.
It's not good.
I'm like
You're not from the South. You're not from the South. I'm taking your South
from the
card.
South.
I'm taking your
Like,
South card.
I'm not from the South. I'm from Texas.
I'm taking your Texas card too. You're not from Texas.
We don't do fried bologna in Dallas.
Shit.
We might. I don't know. I didn't have that growing up. We were very much a turkey and cheese household. Although, what was the meat called that had the green olives in it?
Oh, the ham with the green.
I think that was bologna, wasn't it?
No, that's ham. What do they call that?
We called it like aliens something. What was that called?
No, they call it something, but it's
loaf, olive loaf, maybe.
Gross.
yeah, I think they call it that. It's ham though. It's not bologna.
We had that some, because I love olives, but no, turkey and cheese is the way to go. But Ev, like up here, sandwiches. I mean, it's like you get all the meats.
Yeah, I like a ham, turkey, bacon, cheese, or like a ham, salami, pepperoni, or like
Salami
a gabagool, or like a prosciutto.
Let me tell you something. The best sandwich on the planet is a chopped cheese, and I eat.
Fucking A. We got to get out of here. You're pissing me off.
Chopped cheese are the best sandwiches on the planet.
You're pissing me off.
The best.
Sandwich?
What?
Do I
What's
get a
that, Blaine?
sandwich?
Yes, Liam, you get a sandwich.
Thank you. I was feeling a bit left out.
What's your favorite sandwich?
My favorite sandwich would be turkey, prosciutto on there, some pepperoni,
There we
some
go.
other meats and stuff, some cherry pepper relish, some lettuce,
And Big Ev, your favorite
and
sandwich?
olive oil vinegar stuff.
And hot peppers.
He already said peppers.
Hot peppers.
He
I
already
said cherry pepper relish.
All right.
Hot peppers.
You know what, Big Ev? I don't even care about your sandwich. We're
I
out of
said mine
here.
already.
You
Next
gave a
chicken
sandwich,
salad.
Playboy. You ain't listening.
Pulled pork, and then let's see, Reuben. Reuben's the best sandwich.
Ooh, a Reuben or Cuban.
Corned beef sandwich. Shout out Jewish.
Shout out Jewish.
BYG.
BYG, there it is.
Every week we got to end on the Jewish. All right, that's Unnecessary Roughness. We'll be back Thursday.